watching Dio. Will be a special guest later on, and we'll also draw the top. Make your favourite guy welcome. Ronnie James Dio. Welcome to Australia. Good on you.
Thank you.
2 postponements earlier in the year. Why were they postponed?
Well, normally, if you do Australia, you've done Japan as well. If you do Japan, you do Australia.
So
we had canceled twice in Japan with promoter problems, and that also meant that we had to
just
cancel.
Make it too expensive to come all this way without that link, the step off. There was a poll recently run around Australia to ask who people would most rather see in the heavy metal area working here in Australia. You won the poll.
Oh, very nice.
Would make you feel good. If I asked you, who are your top 3 heavy metal artists outside of your own band, who would you name?
AC/DC. You know, to me, that's always been really the ultimate, and I don't mean this in a derogatory manner, the ultimate garage band to me.
Right.
The band, and by that I mean a band that's really natural and just picks up their instruments and plays, a band with incredible sense of feel. They also happen to be friends, too, which is nice for me to be able to say that.
The next 2?
I think probably, certainly by standards of success, I would have to say, and again, friendship, Scorpions, probably.
Right. And the next?
And the next?
Number 3 in the trifecta.
Well, do these have to be recent or non-recent?
No.
Well, I think even though I disagreed with their reformation, I think you'd still have to give Deep Purple a nod for being a great band. And of course, Led Zeppelin to me has always been the ultimate heavy metal band. Always.
All right, let's have a look at past track of yours, King of Rock and Roll, Ronnie James Dio. Let's go. All right. Okay. Here's the album that is selling very well at the moment, your current album. And just looking at the clip, looking at the album, very big stage show. What can we expect here in Australia?
Well, unfortunately, we were unable, due to monetary matters, to bring it here. I mean, it's incredibly expensive to bring anywhere. That's the dragon that's on the cover. Yes, it's not only the dragon. He's not really such a problem. He travels well. He gets a bit airsick sometimes, but he travels pretty well. It's all the other things that go along with it. It's such a massive set. It's a Gothic castle, really. So it's toned down a little for Australia because no, you're going to get us playing music. You're so quiet. I mean, such a quiet guy, and then you put on the video, and there's this guy really belting. You have to save something for later, you know. I see. It's not that you're schizophrenic or anything. Have to save it for the show, right? Exactly. Yeah, you sort of warm up as you get into it. We'll have a look at the Smiths and Panic. And if you can stay in for us for a little while, we'll come back and chat. Well, I don't know. Well, all right. Good on you, mate. Okay, Ronnie James Dio, be back. Well, love is all, and it's so easy.
Lovers All, the Butterfly Ball, and Roger Glover and yourself did that, but you did it well back before 78, you're telling me?
Yes, we did that in, I think it was either 74 or 75.
That must have been when they got the animation together, and that's when it was a hit here.
Well, it's very strange, because the first time that I'd come to Australia was, and the first city was Perth.
Right.
And that was in the Rainbow days, and I think that was in either 76 or 77.
Yeah.
And most of the people that I had met in Perth knew of me through this particular project and not really through Rainbow. So I thought that it was released much sooner than perhaps the LP wasn't.
Yeah, maybe it was the album and then the animation and up it goes again. I'm not too sure. We'll have to check on that, but I got 78 yesterday when we were going through it. Your career, I wanted to talk about, you sort of done work with a couple of bands like Rainbow, and then you've done your own thing. It's been split about 50-50. Which one do you prefer? Do you like to have your own group or working as part of another band?
But it never really mattered to me. I split my time up really between this one, Rainbow, and Sabbath.
Right.
And Sabbath was one of the bands that I'd come to Australia with on the third trip here. It never mattered to me who was in the band. Of course, it matters who's in the band, but it never mattered whether it was a band that I was the leader of or just a part of. I've always been part of a band. I think that's the most important thing about being in a band. A band signifies that you're with other people, and you should share it that way.
Yeah.
For me, I've just always taken the people around me and worked with them and for them and just been happy. That's what you have to be.
Yeah, I think if it's a team, then they stay together for a little longer. Crusader and Lightning Rock, two groups in Sydney who raise this money. I'll present you with the check.
Right, fabulous.
A considerable amount that they picked up the other night by doing it for Hearing Aid. We talk about that now. How did you get that all together? I mean, all those big names in the heavy metal.
Well, that wasn't very difficult.
No.
The most difficult part was just taking the first step and doing it. We realized that there weren't a lot of people within the kind of music that we make who were doing anything. There was We Are the World, and of course Bob Geldof had done the Band-Aid situation, and there had been a few others too. There had been a lot of other countries contributed. Mexico had one, Sweden had one, Canada had one, and it seemed that no one from our musical
that area
area were doing anything. So it was actually Viv Campbell and who was in Dio before, and Jimmy Bain, our present bass player, who came up with the idea and asked if I would get involved. We then started making some calls. Luckily, having had such a history in this music, we knew most of these people, and they were very happy to take part in it.
Just the logistics of getting them all together.
That was a difficult part, that was very hard, because we may not get the most notoriety, this kind of music, through all kinds of media, but we certainly put more people into halls than anyone else does without that kind of publicity. So it was difficult to take, say, Rob Halford from Judas Priest, who might have been in New York doing a show, and Don Dawkin, who may have been in Phoenix, or ourselves, who may have been in Britain, to get them all together at one time. But they all said, we want to do it so badly that we'll forget about our projects and we'll just do this one. And so it was really easy.
Congratulations.
Well, don't thank them, don't thank me.
Spinal Tap also have their name on it. I mean, who did you got a couple of the actors?
They were the funniest people I've ever met in my life. It was
what a great video.
Michael McKean, the blonde one, the lead singer, guitar player in Spinal Tap, and Harry Shearer, who was the bass player. They were the two that came, and we were on the floor the entire time. I think everyone, even the British people, thought that they were actually British, didn't really realize. And I think their best statement was they were asked about Yngwie Malmsteen, Yngwie J. Malmsteen, which is his correct long name, and they said they understood that it had to be Yngwie J. Malmsteen to differentiate him between all the other Yngwie J. Malmsteens. I guess you had to be there, but they were very funny.
They're lovely guys. So that must be an unbelievable thing, that whole Spinal Tap thing, because in America they were trying to book the band and all this
That's
stuff.
Right.
You know,
that's crazy. Well, they actually did do a small tour.
Did they really?
Yeah. And most of the people I know, in my business anyway, they loved the band and certainly loved the movie and didn't think that it was a send-up of what we do. It was funny. It reminded me of all the bands I've been in, to tell you the truth, especially Sabbath.
It is a wonder that Spinal Tap haven't sort of enlarged and done the world.
They have other careers, I think, to deal with.
Too much else going on.
Yeah.
Thank you for coming in.
My
Good
pleasure.
luck tonight.
Thank you for this.
Entertainment Centre. And $12 tickets. There are a few available if you want to go along. And in Melbourne next Tuesday. Here's Big Country. We've nearly run out of Big Country because we've been playing it underneath. This is called Teacher. Thank once again Mr. Ronnie James Dio.